radio transmissions, microwave transmissions, infrared transmissions, all impossible on a globe at distances are way impossible. 800-mile radio transmissions to sea level, 870-mile NATO communication, microwave communication system, 10,000-mile radio communication between the UK and Australia, 6,000-mile radio communication between Washington, D.C. and a plane in
but
the U.S. Secretary of State's plane over the. This is before satellites, buddy. Good try.
When was this?
Before satellites existed.
Okay, what?
They didn't exist yet.
That you know of. The government's not going to fucking tell you.
I don't think they existed in 1918. Do you think they existed in 1918? At the end of World War One?
No, but there's also other technologies like repeaters.
There was radio was brand new. There was no repeaters. Do you think there was repeaters between Cornwall, UK, and Australia?
There must have been. If
there must have been.
How far was that distance?
Must there have been?
No. How many repeaters would be needed from those two locations?
How did you float them in the Indian Ocean?
Well, I'm going to retract that statement. I don't know if there must have been, but like, how do you know that it doesn't? Is it just impossible because in the flat or globe Earth, 100%, you know that for a fact.
Well, it's 10,000 miles. So if the globe has a circumference of 25,000 miles, that's half the distance, right? So this is almost like being on the North Pole and talking to the South Pole. There's a big ball in the way. How are you doing that? The radio waves don't go through the ball.
Let me add this to the list. You said...
So Marconi, 1918, and a guy named Arthur Fisk. It was Cornwall, United Kingdom to Sydney, Australia in 1918.
Okay. Australia.
I can post the plaque, dude. Post a picture of the plaque because there's a memorial plaque. And I can post links to it.
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah, it's very interesting because the way they discovered it was an amateur radio operator. He started hearing radio transmissions in German. And he was like, well, we're in Australia. There ain't no Germans here. And they were picking up radio broadcasts from Berlin in Australia. So they're like, oh, I got an idea. Why don't we try to do that on purpose? And they did.
Okay.
That's so the geometry of what the radio... I just posted in a chat a diagram of the geometry of what the radio transmission would have been.
They're saying they utilize ionospheric reflection, which is like something in the atmosphere or some shit.
Okay. That's a cool story. There's no evidence for any of that, dude. Do you know that they didn't... That hypothesis didn't even exist when they did the transmission, right? So do you know how that went? That's an ex post facto claim, meaning they did the transmission, said, oh, how's that possible? Earth's a globe. Well, it must have bounced off the freaking ionosphere. We'll just make some shit up on how it worked on a globe. And it couldn't work on a globe like that anyway, because when you have an inner circle and an outer circle, because of the law of reflection, the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection. The angle that the radio bounces off the outer circle, which would be the ionosphere.
Can we talk about something interesting?
In the inner circle, which would be the Earth. I am talking about something interesting. The transmission would flatten out and it would never get there. Because the angle would keep tipping down, and you probably need like 300 fucking bounces to even bounce that far. And here's the other problem. Is that long-range transmission only happens at night. It doesn't happen during the daytime. They did these transmissions during the daytime. During the daytime, skywave ionospheric scattering only works for 500 to 700 miles.
That's your new eating.
We've gone through all the objections. We've heard it all.
I gotta. I'll take
Look, we've been doing
rebuttal.
this for quite a long time.
Disagree.
Just to tell you, just to be honest with you, we've heard all the objections. Like that's why I can sit here. I just calmly talk to you because I know there's literally nothing you could bring up. You could Google forever. We've already heard it all. We've already dealt with it all. We've already refuted it all. There's nothing. And the amazing thing is, every time, and this is like the longer I'm in this topic, the more I'm convinced the Earth is flat, not less. Because every once in a while, a globe earther will bring something new that we've never heard before, and on the surface, it seems like
Purpose.
on the surface, it seems like it proves a globe, but then when you drill down into the details, it's not the case. Every time.
Well, I mean, I think you should adopt a different mindset. I mean, sure, you could be pretty sure about it, but don't fucking like be so sure that you can't.
Don't tell anybody.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It just sounds like nothing I say will change your mind, and that's not.
No, nothing you say
Yeah.
will make the Earth bend.
Okay, yes, things you say could change my mind, but the only thing you can say that would change my mind is some proof that is globe exclusive, meaning it would be something that could only indicate the Earth is a globe. And there's only one thing that can do that. Want to know what that is? Measuring the surface to be curving. That's it. That's the only thing that is available. Everything else is theory-laden, fanciful imaginations about how they think the Earth might work if it was a globe. But we can also concoct some freaking bullshit imaginations, just those stories about how that same phenomenon could work on a flat Earth.
There is one way, but you guys are just gonna say like that's impossible to do. But I think it's the most
Go to
feasible.
space?
No, it's more feasible than that.
Oh, okay.
You stay in our atmosphere or like in the air, and you just fly in one direction and see if you land in the same spot.
Okay. How would you do that, dude?
I know but it's more feasible. Maybe going to space is more feasible. I'll take that back. Build a fucking rocket, go to space, film this shit, and yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Look at it. So the thing that you're on, you have access to, you could measure it right when you're there. Instead, you're going to go far away and look at it.
Yeah, that's because like
How does that make any sense?
Because like
never hire. I hope no one ever
math,
hires you to build a house, because you'd be right at the 2x4 and
Settle
you have
down,
the
Indio.
tape measure and you'd be like, let me walk across the street and look at it.
even in math, right? We sometimes feel that we're at the global maxima, but you could just be in the local maxima. All I'm saying is get a bird's
What are
eye
you
view.
talking
Did you
about,
just say
dude?
that even in math we feel? What are you talking about?
I'm saying
Yeah, can you adjust what I
there's a
said
problem.
about you going to the other side of the street to
giving
tell how
you-
long a board is?
I'm giving you like some perspective. So locally you can see something.
I didn't say see, I said measure. See, this is where you guys get fucked up. You think we're looking at it. We're measuring it, dude.
Settle down, Indio.
I am settled down. You guys conflate calculation and looking at things with measuring what it is. You can know directly what something is by measuring it directly. I can know if you were here and I took a tape measure and measured your height, can anything change that? Any theory, any hypothesis, anybody being far away from you and looking at you, will that change the what the reading was on the tape measure? The answer is no. Okay. That's why we say measure it, because it's a definitive proof. Not
Okay,
because
so
we like
basically,
it, because it's
if I fly
absolute
you
proof.
if I fly you to space and you see Indigo.
Didn't you just make the argument against your own senses? You literally observe the Earth flat every day and you reject it, but you're saying you should go to space and look at the ball and accept it.
So even if you were in a
So you're in a
space that's
contradiction,
still-
bro.
Well, let me just ask you
Yeah,
this.
you better go. You better go buy that vacuum chamber. You won't be talking about space anymore.
If you were in this, if you did it around, like you went around the Earth one time, you still wouldn't believe it. You would rather believe your calculations locally, like 30,
What do
like
you
30
mean? They're
miles.
not calculations, they're measurements.
Okay, your measurements, your local measurements, a 30-mile.
Well, does water conform to into a sphere because of gravity?
I mean, if you actually see it, if you see that
No,
that's the
yeah.
case, you wouldn't believe it.
Okay, so the most of the surface of the Earth is water, right?
He's saying your standards are like, damn, bro.
Look, it's a logical progression. Most of the surface of the Earth is water. Whatever's water doing, the Earth is doing. So if the water is not curbing, then the Earth is not a ball. It's simple logic. All those things are logical necessities of the previous premise. Right? You can't have a 75% flat ball. So if the water's flat, the Earth is flat. It's just really simple. If the water's curved, the Earth is curved. And if we went to space and saw the Earth as a ball, we should be able to come down here and measure it as a ball. It's odd that you guys are like these dual Earth theorists, man, that you guys think there's two Earths. One flat Earth that you're on and another one when you go to space.
And it changes somewhere while you're going high. It's always flat, and then poof, it turns into a ball somewhere.
Yeah, and then there's fucking machines flying around and comets and spacemen and aliens and all this magical shit. Look, you asked me, said I can't change your mind. You could if you had an actual logically sound and valid argument for the Earth being a ball. And since a ball is a claim about its geometry, you need geometric evidence. Okay? Looking at something can tell you about the geometry, but it's not the true geometry because of perspective. Railroad tracks appear to converge in the distance. That's not what they're actually doing. So, because of this, we use tools to directly measure things so that we actually know exactly what they are. Things like tape measures. So, using these instruments, we can tell whether the Earth is a ball or not, or whether it's curving or not, and then infer from that curvature and the theory of gravity, of forming things into balls, that if the Earth's not curving, then it's not a ball. And that theory's crap. It's wrong.
Guys,
Like, if I to-
because they're just gonna say.
Sauce, if I told you a hill, where if I place you in a position on Earth, and then I said in that direction, you see that hill over there? You say, yeah, I see that hill over there. That hill is 6 miles away. How do we know that that hill is 6 miles away?
Rangefinder.
Rangefinder. You can like walk it out, right?
Mhm.
Like you basically go out and you make a measurement to the hill, right? To verify that it's 6 miles away, right?
Yep.
Right. So what we're doing is we're saying, hey, that object in the water is such and such miles away.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, like, even if I were they're just gonna say, yeah, it's the bending of the light, or it's.
You're going to have to
Somehow-
prove that.
Yeah, that's
We can
fine, but there's
we
no
can demonstrate-
justification for that.
We can
You-
demonstrate refraction on a flat surface. Can
Hold
you
on.
demonstrate refraction on a curved surface?
Yeah, that's the crux of the problem. If you ask them, Sauce, What's the evidence for globe refraction? What's the actual evidence for it? Want to know what their evidence is?
Hmm.
A flat-looking Earth.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, what else is it? They say the Earth looks flat. It's got to be refraction. What else is their evidence?
Let me look into that.
How do you know it's a globe? 'Cause
And it
looks
gets even
flat.
worse. I mean, it gets even worse than that because what causes this refraction? The gradient, the density gradient, right? Well, what causes the density gradient? Gravity. Well, what else does gravity do? Forms the Earth into a ball. So gravity conspires to make a ball that compresses the air in such a way that when a human being looks at it, it looks flat. It's the fucking stupidest idea in human history.
Bro, there's a lot of things that are stupid, right? Like fucking
Well, this is the
platypi.
pinnacle because you have to
Platypuses are
believe that
fucking
you're
stupid,
living in
yet
an
they exist.
optical fucking illusion, in that you can't trust your senses, and that nothing is real, basically.
Before I was ever a flat earther, I used to fly. I would fly some more still. Just don't have the funds for it right now. But the 30 or so times that I flew prior to being a flat earther, every time I was in the air, I would say, "Oh my God, look how big the Earth is. It looks flat. Still, can't believe how big the Earth is. I can't see curvature." Every single time.
I flew
You
to
know
Chicago a
you've never
couple
seen.
times, man, and the Great Lakes are flat as fuck, bro.
You know you've never seen curvature. You've never seen it, except in a picture, in a book somewhere, or on video on TV or your computer screen.
No, yeah, for sure. That's your best point, right? That's the best case for flat earthers. 100%.
You know it's flat.
No, there is no best case. It's only flat. That's the only case.
I mean, I don't know. There's like you guys have trouble explaining satellites and
No, I don't.
So
They
you
don't
want us to
exist.
weather
explain the
balloons.
TV
There you
show?
go. Yeah,
You're
they don't
asking for-
exist.
You're asking us to explain the TV show, which you said was our best point, that you don't actually know any of that.
How does GPS work?
Not with a globe. It doesn't even use globe math. Did
So
you know
it's
that?
a bunch of-
Ground
it's a bunch
positioning
of balloons.
work. It finds your position on the ground. It's ground positioning system.
Okay, so GPS doesn't use a globe.
No,
You
but
on
it
your
relies on
phone,
satellites.
look, brother. When you look at your phone, it shows you latitude and longitude, and you go, "Hey, man, it's doing that on a globe." But the actual GPS receiver, the message it gets, it's called a Rhinex message. It comes down in 3 coordinates, not latitude and longitude. The X, Y, Z on a plane. That's what the math that the receiver actually does. This isn't a conspiracy theory. You can type in Rhinex message data, and you can look at the fucking message data yourself. Every
Okay,
receiver
so
does
you're
this.
saying
And hold on, to get a latitude, longitude, it does a coordinate transformation and converts the coordinates into spherical coordinates. But it's not natively in that.
But why do we need spherical coordinates if it's just if it's flat? We don't
Because
need.
our coordinate system is stars.
Okay, so you're not saying that
Because you could,
it's
look,
just
this
a
goes
bunch
back
of.
to your other point about traveling in a straight line. Why you can't actually do that is because you need a spatial reference, right? That you see or
Yeah.
you can detect
You can just have
from all the
fucking towers.
points on your from all the points on your route to know if you're going straight. Because we can't see a mountain from far away because of lots of reasons, mainly because of the air, but because we can't see a mountain from 400 miles away, we use the stars. We use the stars to navigate, and we create an entire coordinate system based upon the stars. They're not based upon a globe ground. You can't even find your latitude and longitude without using the sun and the stars. Longitude is a solar coordinate. Latitude is a celestial equator coordinate,
Bro, you
meaning
guys don't even believe in the stars.
What are you talking about?
What
I
are you
don't.
talking about, dude?
We don't believe in the story of what they say they are. We see stars. Listen, just
How do you guys
because
know a
we
fucking
don't
story up
believe
there?
the story associated that the story that they say associated with stars doesn't mean we don't believe in stars or that we think stars are fake. Stars are real. We can see them, but they're not made of fucking big balls of fucking gas in a vacuum burning at 1,000,000 fucking degrees. Okay? That's what they aren't.
What's the medium between us?
And the stars, we don't know.
The absolute medium, it's a variation.
Hey, Saucy, I put in the side chat a GIF.
I mean,
of a
I've heard one
satellite.
hypothesis of liquid helium-4.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool. That was a pretty cool one too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like really testable, but it's possible. It's feasible within the paradigm of physics. It could be helium-4.
Hey, Sauce.
Yeah.
I put a video in the side chat of a satellite. Satellites are real, bro.
So that, yeah, exactly. Balloons, right?
Hey, Biden shot it down, bro. It's real.
That's not
Here,
the only one.
I posted one talking to another one and making an alignment with it, keeping it always in view, basically.
And as I just told you, we were doing 10,000-mile radio transmissions in 1918. Satellites were never necessary to exist because there's never been a ball in the way between radio transmissions.
I look up in the sky, man. I can find Regulus. I can find Polaris. I can find, the constellations. I understand those things, right? I can see Jupiter. I can see Mars. I can see Saturn. I can find them, those three personally, with the naked eye. And in certain days when Venus is in the sky, I can find that too when it's on the horizon. That doesn't make the Earth a ball, and that doesn't mean that you know what the planets or the stars are. You can see them in the sky, but what they're made out of, you have no fucking idea.
And the way celestial navigation works is you estimate how long it's going to take you to get to where you want to go. And then you read which star is going to be over that spot at that time. So
I'll give you an example of
stars
how you don't
move,
know.
yeah, if you know that Orion's going to be over freaking wherever, Egypt, in 30 fucking days, and it takes you 30 days to hypothetically travel that far, all you have to do is follow fucking Orion, and you're going to end up in Egypt. You know that 30 days later, if the Orion's directly over your head, you're in Egypt. You know how we know that? Because that's the coordinate system we made. That's how we designated all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
They say Polaris is 432 light years away. How do they know that?
That's changed so many times, man.
I know. You know how far a light year is,
How many times
Sauce?
has that changed?
Yeah.
At least three times that I know. No, how far away? How many miles?
I don't know. I can do the calculations real quick.
5.8 trillion miles. I'll save you the math.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So imagine 432 times 5.8.
No, I know.
How
I
do
know.
they know that?
I know space is stupid big according to.
How do they know that?
That's a good question. Let me see.
Yeah, so that's the question we ask. They make claims, right? And we ask, how do they know it? Right? And we never get an answer, even when we talk to astronomers, astrophysicists, regular physicists, mathematical, like you name it, we've talked to them. And when we ask them how they know what they're saying, I mean, I had a mathematical physicist tell me he can't prove anything exists and that like he might not have any hands and we all might be brains in a jar. That's where he had to go because he couldn't actually back up that the Earth was a globe. This is a academic man that was teaching physics at university. when pressed to prove the globe, had to say, we can't prove anything. We could all be brains in a jar. The people that I believe you're relying on when you think that the Earth is a globe, these are the people that the average person comes and relies on. They say, what about the scientists? What about the academics? What about these people? They know the Earth is a globe. Well, we've talked to them, and they don't. They don't know anything more than you. They just heard this story in high school and just accepted it. They've never done any tests. They've never done any experiments. They've never done any measurements. They've never done anything.
Yeah, could be. It's tough.
Maybe the
It's
guy
tough.
in here that he wrote his PhD dissertation on direct and indirect detection of dark matter. He didn't know anything. He's an
Well,
astrophysicist.
for me, if I go to space and I see it,
Yeah.
that's it, man. It's like there's without a doubt, like doing the calculations here on Earth. That's
Don't
like
you
pretty
understand
convincing.
how contradictory your? How do you know it's actually a ball? I mean, you saw the Earth is flat and you didn't believe it. How come you're going to believe it when you see it as a ball?
Let me finish. I have to make I have to orbit around this fucker.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's fair.
Space is fake, dude. You're gonna find out when you get your vacuum chamber. You're not gonna orbit anything.
Do you think an orbit has ever been actually observed by anybody?
30 people apparently.
They saw something orbit? From where?
Like those people in the ISS right now, right?
They only see 3% of the Earth.
What do you mean?
From
They
the
orbit around the
ISS's
Earth.
altitude, you would only see 3% of the Earth.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. They're still traveling around the Earth.
How do you know? It's like being in an airplane, dude. It's like being in an airplane.
Yeah. They're just looking out the window, man. They can't tell if they're going around anything. They could be just going in a big circle, which would be the same thing. It's just the difference of the circle. So one circle flips upside down, one just goes left or right, right? So they could just be going in a circle. They can't tell from where they are. See, fundamental problem, I keep bringing up things that you Golders have in common, is when you think about the world, you think about it from a third-person point of view and don't think about it from what people actually experience by looking out their eyes. Okay, from the viewpoint of someone on the ISS, they're only going to see 3% of the Earth, and they're going to have no fucking idea they're going in a circle, they're doing a loop-de-loop, or anything. Especially if they're in free fall. They can't feel which way the spaceship's going, right? So they have no idea where they're going. And there's no way to tell visually. So,
Here's my question to you, Saucy.
Yeah.
So if you're waiting to go to space to prove the Earth is a globe, then why aren't you thinking the Earth is flat until proven otherwise?
Because I can't prove that it's not refraction or fucking whatever else they say.
You can't prove that it is refraction.
you can't even demonstrate that refraction could even do that in the first place.
So we can just get rid of refraction now, so you don't even have to worry about it. So what's your next one?
Okay, let me ask him this. Hang
on. Why is he giving? I just wanted to know why he's giving the globe the benefit of the doubt observation of reality.
Yeah, because consensus means something to me. I know it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, got it. Thanks, religious.
Slurp. So, listen, what if they said electromagnetism made it look flat and not refraction? What if they just said some other physical law? Wouldn't they have to justify that in some way?
So what would that look like to you for them to show you that it is refraction? What would that look like?
Measurements,
Okay.
like measurements, but the measurements that have been done show that refraction of that type is not possible. That's the rub. See, this is why I'm asking you very simple questions, right? Because because what they like to do, the people that the Goldbergers that debate this topic, they want to bring up refraction. So you go down the rabbit hole of nonsense instead of tackling the fundamental premise in the first place. Is refraction even capable of doing what they say, making a curved surface look flat? Is it capable of doing that?
Right.
But also there's a caveat to this. The caveat is, and that has to be the only visual phenomenon that you see, meaning other effects associated with refraction, such as dispersion, vignetting, right? Magnification, shrinking, things looking smaller, things looking larger, things looking distorted. Those
You know why?
hold on. Those things can't be there.
I know.
Only
You're,
that
you're
one
right.
thing of a flattened globe. That's
No,
nonsense.
like I said, from my point of view right now, this is definitely the best case for it, right? 100%. I'm just saying, for me to accept this one anomaly, if I can call it that, for a glober, everything else falls apart to me.
What anomaly? Which anomaly are you talking
Okay,
about?
I'm not gonna call it anomaly. I'm not gonna call it an anomaly. I'm just saying, if I were to
I don't know
accept that it is,
exactly what you're talking about. I
if
don't
it's
know.
a flat, if it's a flat Earth, then I'm gonna have to like fucking contend with the idea that okay, somewhere around here there might be a fucking edge and water's just flowing into whatever or flowing down.
Why would that happen?
I don't know, because if it's. Are you saying that it's an infinite expanse?
Okay.
You don't know that, right?
Well, first of all, water. If you thought that there was an edge and water is going off into the vacuum, water evaporates.
No.
In
You don't
vacuum.
believe it. You don't believe in the
No,
vacuum,
hold on.
remember?
But that's what you're saying. That means water would evaporate as soon
No,
as it
I'm
hit
not
the
saying.
vacuum.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if it's
Well,
flat,
why would you
unless
think
it's
that
an
there's an
infinite
edge with water
expanse.
falling off of it?
Okay, fuck the water. I'm just saying there's got to
Falling from
be
there.
an edge. There's got to be an edge, right?
Why?
Okay, so it's infinite to you.
No, that's a false dichotomy, dude. Infinite is the act of counting. So this is a bad idea that people have, that infinite is something, dude. Infinite is the act of counting.
You'll walk in a circle before you find anything relevant.
so
Why is
when
that?
you can always count the number afterwards, that's said to be infinite, right? So an infinite set, an infinite series, an infinite enumeration. There's always something that comes after it. Okay?
Yeah, okay, fuck infinity.
Why would we?
You know what I mean.
But
You know what I mean.
finite. Well, no, this is very important because the choices here are finite or infinite, but those are actually not opposite things. They're used opposite in modern language, but they're actually not opposite things. So we're talking about spatial properties. So anything logically that is an object must be inside a greater space, right? So you have a beach ball is in a swimming pool, right? And the swimming pool's in the yard. And the yard's in the town. And the town's in the country. And the country's on the continent. And the continent's, surrounded by water, inside the water. And then the water's inside the earth, right?
You know what's surrounding
And then the
Earth.
Earth's inside the solar. And I'm just doing the globe one. The Earth's inside the solar system, and the solar system's inside the galaxy, and the galaxy's inside the great fucking void, and the great void's inside the universe. What's the universe inside?
Yeah, we haven't observed that. Yeah.
Well, if it was inside, anything that you could say exists, by definition, is inside the universe and can't be outside it, because the universe means everything.
All I'm asking you is, what do you think?
No running away, dude. Don't run away. This was your question.
He already answered the question, Indio. He said we had. When Indio asked you the question, what was outside the universe, you said, "I don't know. We haven't observed it yet."
Yes.
Okay,
That's the answer.
That's the
That's your
answer.
answer. Okay.
That's
Okay.
the answer about flat Earth. There's no evidence that there isn't outside. There is no evidence you can go outside. There's no evidence that there's some freaking limit or wall or boundary or edge or anything like that. There's no evidence of any of that stuff.
Yeah, which says something to me.
Yeah, that the Earth is the universe.
No.
Just because you can imagine you can go outside the Earth doesn't mean you actually can. It doesn't even mean that there is something outside the Earth. Can you go outside of your body?
Wish.
If you wish, probably not. You probably don't wish that wants to happen. But
You don't want to astral project, brother.
well, I mean, that's what the globe Earth is. It's just literally, it's in the word, astral projection.
Dude,
You're
why do you got to
imagining
do
that
all
you've
this
left the
weird
Earth and you're
shit?
looking. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's exactly. It's the globe Earth is just a crazy occult religion, dude. If you want to boil it down.
So you guys always want to float, you want to fly, you want to astral project, you want to go to space. What is wrong with you people?
What's wrong with that?
They want to. The chains of gravity are like slavery holding us down. Swing low, sweet chariot.
I think
Break
that if
free
you
from
actually,
gravity.
if it was possible to live where there was no gravity and you just like floated around, they think that that would be fun. After about an hour of that, you would want to just be like, put me back down because this is not going to work out for me.
How about when you get like 90 years old and can't control your bladder and like piss is like flying everywhere in little balls?
No, all you have to do is just get seasick and start puking. That's it. It just takes one day, and now you got 9 people puking all at the same time.
Yeah.
Go clean that up with a mop.
Yeah, fucking lo mein floating around everywhere. Gross.
All up in the corners of the air vents and shit, getting sucked in. Gonna make myself throw up thinking about it.
All I'm saying is we don't have evidence of an edge, right?
That's right.
Why would we think there's an edge?
We don't have evidence of outer space making people float. You're going to find out with your vacuum chamber that water doesn't exist in a vacuum. So you can't have a ball Earth full of water floating in a vacuum.
I wondered how the thought would have finished. We don't find an edge, but we still measure the surface as flat. What was you going to say?
I'm just saying that's just another point on the graph. Yeah, I said already that it is pretty sus how we don't see a curve. It is pretty sus.
We don't
But
measure one either.
it's also
The
pretty sus
important
that we
part
can't
is we
find
don't
an edge.
measure one. That's the important part is we don't measure one. Seeing is not dispositive, dude. Seeing is a subjective activity. Now, seeing a no curve is a good starting point, but that doesn't mean it's not proof. It's just evidence. The proof is the measurement.
Yeah, but the active. I know. I know what you mean.
If I look at railroad tracks and they appear to converge, how do I prove they're parallel? By looking at them. You understand? Seeing
No, I get what you're
projection of the 3D world onto a 2D surface. Okay?
Sure.
So seeing has a fundamental flaw. You're missing a dimension. And it's only true from your fucking perspective. But from other perspectives, it's different. That's why we have this orthographic shit. Okay, we have
We're not
blueprint
really
drawings and all those things, right?
Our vision is not orthographic, but I see your point.
I know.
Our depth perception is flawed and may vary from person to person. I get what you're saying.
No, it just gives it's a different. It's not that it's flawed. It's that we can say different things about the world than orthographically. So, but with vision, we can look at something and get the angular size, visual size of something angularly. You can't get that orthographically unless you take a third point that's not part of the orthographic diagram and project part of the orthographic diagram out of it onto a point. Then you can get the angles of, say, the angular size of an object.
No, I get what you're
it's
saying,
just
yeah.
different. It's just different information. That's all it is. It's different information. It's not right or wrong. It's just different information. You're not getting the whole thing. You're getting part of it.
I know our vision is flawed. We have to measure it.
It's not flawed.
It is.
It's incomplete. What would perfect vision look like? Where you have like a 3D hologram in your brain of what the world is?
Superman vision.
Probably, yeah. Like, you know how in like video games you can just fucking
No,
you have like a
Video
fucking
games, man.
graph. You have like I mean,
third
yeah,
person.
Turn the video games off, dude.
Are you in a third person shooter or a first person shooter right now?
all I'm saying is if you knew where everything is in the XYZ, that would be perfect, right? I'm not even saying that's possible. I'm just saying you asked me what would perfect be. I'm telling you that is perfect. I could know something where it is in space relative to the origin with precise well up to 32 bits or 64 bits. But yeah.
Okay. But you know what? If you had orthographic vision and I gave you a gun, you would never be able to shoot anything. Because you'd have no perspective. You'd have no idea what the angle of the object is out there in 3D space.
Let me think about that. No,
You don't have
that would
angles.
be right. That would be right because you would direction is still going to be the same, but you're just not
Direction out
going
of what?
you just can't you just don't have depth perception. That's what orthographic is. You lose the depth perception.
But it terminates at like your gun is a point, right? It has to terminate at that point, the barrel of your gun.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
The sights through the gun.
The sights of the gun, right? That's where the bullet goes.
Sure, I'm saying you're still pointing in that direction. You just don't know how far it is because you're now orthographically projecting, right? You don't have depth perception.
Yeah, but okay. I mean,
You're
this
still
is
going to be shooting in that direction.
Okay, but if you saw the world in an orthographic view, when you took your little gun and went to shoot for somebody, you'd miss.
Not true. That's literally what I'm saying. You just don't know how far he is.
No, you don't know the direction.
Not true.
Yes, true. Okay, I'll tell you why it's true, because
Bro, in my video game right now, my video game right now, I can have raycasts from my camera down to a point on the plane.
Still
even
in
with
perspective.
Yeah, that's great, right? That's
in orthographic.
Fantastic.
That's
orthographic is like a blueprint.
Have you ever played a video game like back in the day where everything looks like?
Dude, I played Pong. Okay, like don't ask me if I played a video game back in the day. I played Pong when it came out.
Okay, well that's in 2D. It doesn't work.
We past each other. Do you know what orthographic is?
All your games are 2D too. They're just drawn like 3D.
You
no, they're simulated in 3D. Yeah, that's a fair point. But
Can you give an example of an orthographic projected view?
Okay.
I don't think you what's being said.
No, I do. An orthographic projection is where your camera, the frustum is it's a cube, right? Or it's a rectangle, or not? Yeah, it's a cube. It's not. They're parallel. These the borders. So everything appears to you like it's the same distance, right? It's not. It's what he said. It doesn't go to a point because you need.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you're the point.
But directions are still the same. The direction that you're pointing at is
not
still
from your
going to be
viewpoint, though.
Yes, it is.
Okay, look, you would have a bunch of parallel lines. You're going to be aligned with one of those parallel lines. That will only be your only, like, you don't have a point of view. There is no such thing as a point of view. That's why it's not perspective. Perspective has a point of view, meaning there's a point which the whole 3D image is projected on, which converges.
Not true. Not true, because you can say...
Where does an orthographic projection converge?
there is no convergence, but you can say I want to
Okay.
shoot a ray. I want to shoot a ray from this XY, right, and then go straight.
Yeah, go straight to where?
Straight to
What do
whatever
you see?
whatever
A
it hits.
square?
Yes, in that I mean
But-
in that case you're just gonna hit whatever.
I mean, I think I know what the problem here is. Do you know what a what the hell is it called? A telecentric lens is?
No.
Okay, so it's a lens that they use in manufacturing that they'll like when they need to precisely measure the part.
Sure.
Okay, it there's no perspective. It's an orthographic image with a camera lens, and the reason it works is because the camera lens is the size of the part. So it's a 5 millimeter part. You have a 5 millimeter lens, and it's a parallel projection because the lens is big enough. There is no point projection or near point, even near point projection. Like you said, frustrum. Say you had a 10 millimeter part and a 5 millimeter lens, you would have a frustrum with a back plane, front plane, right? Where the front plane would be the camera lens of 5 millimeters, and the back plane would be the part of 10 millimeters. Now you could do a calculation and do some, computer-aided fucking correction, but you can just get the telecentric lens and
Just gonna hit whatever.
I mean, I think I know what the problem here is. Do you know what what the hell is it called? A telecentric lens is?
No.
Okay, so it's a lens that they use in manufacturing that they'll like when they need to precisely measure the part.
Sure.
Okay, it there's no perspective. It's an orthographic image with a camera lens, and the reason it works is because the camera lens is the size of the part. So it's a 5 millimeter part. You have a 5 millimeter lens, and it's a parallel projection because the lens is big enough. There is no point projection or near point, even near point projection. Like you said, frustrum. Say you had a 10 millimeter part and a 5 millimeter lens, you would have a frustrum with a back plane, front plane, right? Where the front plane would be the camera lens of 5 millimeters, and the back plane would be the part of 10 millimeters. Now you could do a calculation and do some, computer-aided fucking correction, but you can just get the telecentric lens and just make it the size of the part and not do any of that. Now, there's some videos on YouTube where people they make a giant telecentric lens that's like it's about 10-inch diameter lens, and they run a train at it on train tracks, and it doesn't even look like it's coming at the camera, even though it is coming right at the camera, because it doesn't have a direction from the observer's point of view. There's no direction that like goes to the observer. Everything doesn't converge at the observer.
Sure, that's if your constraint is you can only shoot the ray from the middle or somewhere, but that's obviously not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can choose an XY. You can choose an XY on this square and go forward. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you're saying you can only shoot from fucking 0, 0, let's say that's the middle of the screen, then yeah, you're never gonna hit. You're only gonna
And
be
dude, you
able to
can't
hit,
do any of that on a ball. You can only do all of that in a flat game.
Anyway, this is all like what's
Maybe
past
because
the
I see
graveyard. We don't live in an orthographic. Well, hold on, dude, just one sec. I'm only gonna say this. We don't live in an orthographic world, though. We live in a world of perspective. That's what we see. When we model the sun, moon, earth, all these objects, right, that we see, right, they're supposed to be objects. The mathematics is an observer-centric perspective, all of it. They don't use a globe. They assume that you're a point at the origin of coordinates in astronomy and all these places. All these models are actually observer-centric models. And the only reason they use a sphere is because it's easier to calculate if they assume that you're just a point at the center of the sphere. Anyway, whoever had something to say, go ahead. Okay, then. Have a nice day. Be sure to tip your waitress. So, Radwin, what was the vacuum test he's going to do?
I'm gonna drop two things.
Your first you're gonna, before you ruin your vacuum chamber, first you're gonna put a half a shot glass of water in there, and you're gonna time how long it's gonna be till your vacuum chamber is completely dry. I was gonna say it's about an hour is my guess.
How do I it's like I need a humidity fucking sensor?
No, you'll see. Believe me, you'll see it. You'll see it all over the inside of the vacuum chamber. As soon as it hits a certain point, it goes poof and turns into a cloud. Because when there's no pressure, the water turns into gas. So that's why you can't have gas balls in a vacuum and water balls in a vacuum.
Yeah, it evaporates. So basically, it's gonna condensate.
Yeah,
right,
so
on the side.
Earth can't be a water ball in a vacuum. That's correct.
It's actually sublimation. The water sublimates out of the air that's dissolved in.
The gears turning in his head.
So, Sauce, if you pay attention to this topic, what you often see is there's two classes of argumentation. There's descriptions of what's actually happening, like what's actually observed, and then there's explanations. Okay? A lot of times people try to pass off the explanation as the description. For instance, solar eclipse. I saw the moon go in front of the sun. That's the explanation. But that's not an accurate description of what was actually seen, because you can't see the sun during the moon during a solar eclipse because it's a new moon. So they never saw the moon at all. This is something you'll see if you're engaged in this topic over and over again. Quoberters they'll say they're empiricists, and you'll ask them for evidence, and you'll ask them for data. You'll ask them for experiments, like the one Rabnin just said. Gas balls in a vacuum. And all you'll get is an explanation. You'll just get a story. You'll never get the actual data, the actual experiment to back up any of the claims. This happens repeatedly over and over and over and over and over ad nauseum. But science, as you should know, is based upon empirical, meaning from experience, observation, or experiment. Technically, just pure observation is not science, but let's just put it under the broad term of science. Okay? Observation and experience, period. That's it.
Hold on. So explain to me why if I see like water droplets on the side of my vacuum chamber, why does that disprove gravity or whatever you're saying?
How come it was held down before you put it in there and remove the air pressure? It was held down by gravity then, but when you remove the air pressure, gravity gave up on it. So is it the air pressure holding it down, or is it gravity holding it down? You decide.
I don't see how that follows. Like because if the water turns into gas, that's what we see even in non like.
Yeah, so gases are not pulled down by gravity, are they?
Okay, so if I had, let's say, if I had
your
like,
brain, didn't it?
Yeah, gears turn again.
Not really, but if I had
no gears are turning yet. Okay.
If the water is like blue or something, right, and I can see the gas, let's say, what you're saying the gas is gonna is what's gonna happen to the gas? You're saying it's gonna rise?
You let your
Or
vacuum
it's gonna fall?
chamber run until it's dry. Yeah, you let it run until it's dry. You don't just turn it on for a second and say, "Oh, I pulled a vacuum." You let that thing go for about an hour.
Hmm.
It'll be bone dry. If
But
not, let it go a couple more minutes. It'll dry up.
Yeah, but there isn't an atmosphere around the container or inside of the container, but surrounding the gas. It doesn't fall.
What the hell does that mean, dude?
is the
As in there is,
atmosphere the container?
Are you telling me
for a globe,
the air turns into some kind of solid container that holds water around a ball then?
Are you saying the gas contains the gas?
I'm
Because
not
the
sure what I'm
atmosphere is
saying.
the gas.
Let me search.
I know you're not sure what you're saying yet, so you're trying to just make up anything. It's like you're panicking now.
No, I'm just trying to follow a train of thought and see where that leads me. Let's see, like,
Okay, just go by the second law of thermodynamics. Gases have infinite degrees of freedom and try to reach thermodynamic equilibrium within their environment. If they're inside a vacuum and there's a barrier and you open the barrier, the gas will expand to fill the available volume and trying to reach thermodynamic equilibrium. Gravity has no effect on this process and is nowhere in the kinetic theory of gases or any gas laws. There's just no gravity in any of the formulas because it has no effect on gases. You would need to have gravity in the phase diagrams for the transitions of matter from phases. That gravity would create pressure, which would change, and temperature, which means it would be able to do work. It's like this. The gravity thing is like outside all the physics, dude. It's just its own special category of physics that somehow is immune to all the other physical laws we have.
Just remembered we needed the container for the vacuum.
And remember, do that first before you throw your vacuum chamber out your window and prove nothing by doing that, except you can prove that you're going to break shit.
bro, I'm not gonna drop a bowling ball. I'll drop like maybe a feather or
Why?
something else.
He thinks he's going to drop them inside his vacuum chamber, and that's going to prove if they fall at the same time somehow.
Okay, but that's not all elements, is it?
Relevant in the sense that there is something making it fall. at,
No, he
like,
said
a
it's
certain
not
rate.
all elements that do that.
No, okay,
So
but yeah,
there's some
I
of these
don't, I don't mind that video.
well, I mean, you don't buy into the video? What video?
The video that you guys showed, right? The Bremen
Drop tower. He saw that, panicked. He saw that elements don't drop at the same rate in a vacuum. Now he's going to go buy a vacuum chamber and drop his vacuum chamber.
Oh, what I saw was one video.
Yeah, they
That's
kicked him
pretty
out.
grainy.
They wouldn't let him do anymore.
Yeah, what is his name? I want to search him up.
In the video description is a link to his website. He's a German guy.
Well,
There's English translations on the website of everything. He has research papers, all that stuff is on there. He's not the only one that's done this, or something like this. There's another guy who's currently doing it. His name is Sky Darnos. But he's done a different type of setup. So because of air resistance and you have different elements, your elements would have different shapes. What his way around this was to take the elements and stick them inside a basically like a ping pong ball, but it's just a plastic ball with hemispherical cells that snap together. So now you have unified air resistance. The air resistance is the same for every single one. So he takes 1 gram of each element and measures what the rate of free fall is, and it's not the same. It varies by element, and from what he's deduced, that the more neutrons that are in the element, the faster the rate of fall. Now, he has a whole theory behind this, but this is he's a physicist, PhD, all the math, all the crap. He's written 2 books on it. So the equivalence principle was never proven.
Sounds like neutrons are pretty heavy shooting for ground like that.
Like you can't just have one video and say, "Oh, here's the."
I just gave you a YouTube channel. He posts his experiments.
But you said that
that
it's
he
not the
does.
exact same. Like we were talking about repeatable.
It is no.
Experiments, right?
Listen, he takes an element like say a gram of lead and a gram of iron and a gram of calcium. Because of their densities are different, they're not going to be identical shapes. So you can't just drop them the way they are as a gram because they'll have different air resistance. So he solved this by taking them and putting them each in a ball. Now, because they're in the identical kind of ball, they have identical air resistances and identical weights.
This is very dependent on the state of matter. Solid, liquid, gas. Are we dropping gases in
He
vacuums?
controlled all the variables except for the element is what he varied, the element that's inside. Weight is the same, geometric form is the same, air resistance is the same. So everything's the same.
Somehow that okay. All right, let me think about this. You have a container that is the same,
Yes, a
and
ball.
it contains whatever it contains, whether
Contains an
liquid,
element that weighs 1
Yeah.
gram.
right? It doesn't matter if it's solid or whatever because you have this outer shell anyways.
Yes. And he drops it and he times how fast it takes to fall.
Okay, where is this video?
It's a bunch of videos, so I'll post a link in the side chat to his channel. Tons of videos. He also got talks that he's given at conferences, and you can watch them if you want.
Okay, so it shouldn't be too hard to find
His
that.
theory is that inertia and gravity are not the same, right? So you had the equivalence principle where inertial mass and gravitational mass are identical. He's saying that that's not true. That the so-called gravitational mass is based upon the number of neutrons inside of an element. Technically, not the number of neutrons. It's a little more sophisticated than that. But the neutron count is the easiest way to tell what it is. But but it's an interaction between the neutrons and the protons. It's not specifically their binding energy, but it's like that.
Is it the neutron count or isn't it the proton count? I don't want to. I'm not going to get
Well,
too
according
technical,
to
but I
him,
think
it's
it
the
is.
neutron count.
Yeah,
Fucking-
it's a convertible, and the seat doesn't appear. Everything seems to be fine. It's a car.
Yeah, that's the
of course.
problem.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just stating that is what I'm observing here.
Do you remember the event? Probably about 10, 15 years ago now, right?
Really? Fuck. Nah, dude. What are you doing?
I think it was 7 years ago, maybe.
Oh, wow.
We're
Yeah,
not that
okay.
old, dude. Please don't.
But yeah, time is going fast, man. Yeah, that's true.
There's your proof for time dilation.
Proof of time dilation is marshmallows in a vacuum chamber?
What?
I don't know. I just heard there's your proof of time dilation.
Well, that's me dilating 7 years into 10 to 15.
Oh, that was the time dilation? Isn't
Yeah,
it
yeah,
time?
yeah.
Well, I mean,
As you get older, time goes faster.
I was just giving him shit, bro.
time is just an illusion, man. Want to buy some grass?
All right, it was nice chatting. I'm gonna take everything into consideration. I'll be back. I'll fucking yeah.
All right.
I'll be back. Peace.
Space is fake. Bye.